Good afternoon. Namaste. So thank you very much. We have actually heard a good experience of from a user experience, customer experience. So let us actually put together. So we have heard one simple example that maybe the latest chaos, we are all traveling helter-skelter here and there. But ultimately, that customer experience, and that question was actually, since it was on to the airline, so I will just take up that from that itself. Ultimately, there are certain things called as more than a customer experience, it is a trust. So I don't know, I'm very vocal about Air India. I don't know the experience will be the same with others, but I feel that Air India, the brand which I have actually trusted. So I'm very vocal about it. So you don't know why. I don't know, by virtue of more travel, I became exclusive member of them. So whenever I sit in my seat, they will come and actually tell that, thank you very much for being a platinum member. So I actually feel so good about it. So that has created the trust in it. And so I keep booking Air India again and again. So maybe something which is be about a customer experience and the trust which you have created. At the simple thing which I will take about. And the panelist, Titir, has actually told about this particular thing about the trust. That is the foundational thing. Now coming into what is actually the context where we are talking about from a BFSI industry. We have been as a country which has been grown to more than 100 billion transactions also thanks to digital public infrastructure. Maybe somebody like a roadside vendor also scanning the QR code and getting the money in his account. So from that standpoint, we actually feel like there is something that we have spoken about, market risk, credit risk, because all these transactions put together have finally come to something like creating a risk, a reputational risk. And the CIOs, CISOs, and other leaders in this forum definitely will be thinking about this particular thing. How can you tackle that particular problem of digital trust? So just from that standpoint, we spoke about, or rather, what are the 4 pillars right now? It is all about the geopolitical realignment from a unipolar world to a multipolar one. We have also spoken about so much thing about the digital and the tech disruption. We spoke a lot about AI, data, and all other things. And the main thing which we are also thinking about, sustainability and ESG imperative, because that is not actually a nice to have now, it is a must to have feature, and also about the supply chain fragility. So if we are talking about all this stuff, the critical thing what we are figuring about is the lack of digital trust, which is actually coming as one of the core element. And the digital trust imperative is giving you the financial integrity, because this is what the leaders are talking about, the financial integrity. There are regulatory mandates which are happening right from the DPDP Act or the RBI or SEBI circulars coming up. The competitive advantage, one small example which I was always talking about is my son is a 15-year-old, we have spoken about the customer experience also. He has just used his phone to buy digital gold because his grandparents have given him pocket money, and using that, he has bought digital gold. So this is where in which the leaders here talks about having a competitive edge, what we are actually giving back to the customers also, and the innovation enabler. Because high trust environment always allows faster adoption. Also gives a trust threat landscape, because we have seen that creating, enabling more and more tech stacks have come back to ransomware. There are AI-powered fraud which are happening with the deepfakes and all. API vulnerabilities are happening. And the CISO's dilemma is always the skill gap. How can we bridge this gap from a skills perspective, also friction versus flow, and the legacy debt, where how can we actually tackle back to the core application. 81% of the organization, this is the data which is available in public, organizations have suffered 2 or more disruptive outages caused by expired digital certificates in the past 2 years, just in the likes of Elon Musk company also, because he has tweeted that. A disruptive outage has business impact of more than 300,000 USD per hour for a global 500 organization. How does it actually occur? We have the various layers. You have the infrastructure layer. We are always talking about the cloud infrastructure, internal infrastructure, and various stakeholders, including the employees, the vendors, customers, and the consultant. Because attacks surfaces are increasing at all layers, and many organizations still are creating and maintaining inventories on spreadsheets. So big developments are actually happening in the digital certificate world, because the likes of the big applications providers like Google, Microsoft, Firefox, Apple and all have created a shorter certificate expiry for almost like 47 days. And also there are recent distress which has happened for mass revocation for CAs, then the deprecation of the latest technologies, and which requires a need of crypto agility. Local residency rules also in a lot of countries have prompted to do that. This also pose challenges to the CISOs, because there is no centralized inventory and to manage the complexity of these things. The scalability issues also there, which actually prompts that automation is the critical key. So what the solution for that is need to create, there are so many things which are available from an SSL TLS perspective. We need to create the private PKI, we need to have S-MIME certificates, code signing certificate, user certificates, devices spread across the organization on various levels. So we need to have a solution, need to discover, create a workflow, and also provisioning from a public, private, and manage the certificates in a nutshell. So this is a solution which really offer. Ultimately, all comes down to a GenAI to run everything. You can have a model context protocol just to tell that just renew the certificate. Just renew the certificate from so-and-so provider. Automatically, it can understand and then issue the certificate also. So we have the advanced capabilities from a flexible architecture perspective. We have the risk insights and compliance, automated workflow, the integrated platform. We also push for the zero trust integration, and definitely come to a cost optimization in a complete single pane of glass. Another thing is about the having identities across the organization. A large bank or an insurance company has large identities, either from a CRM or HRMS or ERP spread across, and these are all challenging to identify, and what privilege has been given, what are access been given, and somebody who has already left the organization still have the privilege of doing it, because you don't have a unified view of it. This can also be done by having a unified view of having that on a singularized fund. The next big thing is also coming from the quantum perspective. We have also seen that some of those algorithms are already broken. Post-quantum cryptography is actually coming, and all property comes from cryptography. So what is that the solution which can be coming? You can have a unified platform which can also have the stakeholders data, the citizen data, the workforce data coming together, having an identity governance to privileged identity to a converged identity platform. Then also we are actually seeing that there are workflows available in every organization, including the banks and insurance companies and all. We have finally the traceability and verifiability becomes a critical challenge for various organizations. There are solutions which can come in where the large use cases has been solved for enterprise-wide thing, where we have solved the use cases for global banks for asset base of more than 2 billion. The largest case study in here, there are, as I was already mentioning, almost 300 type of workflows which are already available, has taken, and this has been done at a very large scale. on various touch points, starting from the customers to internal workflows as well. So finally, just 2 words about eMudhra. We've been formed, and many of you might have actually known that we are a licensed certifying authority. You might have a certificate at least to connect with, but we have grown from that level to a much bigger role right now. We've been formed in 2008, being a trust infrastructure, but from there we have actually grown the only Indian company to become the largest certification authority and a global trust provider. The entire application IP with us, and supported with a lot of global available platforms as well. So many customers, whichever large government customers to banking customers to insurance customers, we already have, and also supporting wide range of use cases and multiple scaled use cases across the industries. The solution ranging from identity to management to encryption to signing, the entire suite of products are currently offered by eMudhra. So as a conclusion, we can actually see from a trust perspective, we have a consent architecture. We need to create the zero trust core and create the applications with the privacy as a design. So thank you very much. To touch upon one last thing is that eMudhra, we have created Make in India and now Made for the World, because we have almost taken the same solutions to the entire world. Large organization, government departments have already using it. So we are very proud and humbled to tell that we started everything from India, and majority of the large organization, including the developed countries, are actually using our solution. Thank you very much.